joining us today on Playing the Field. I'm Maria Serrao. Well, we finally made it to the All-Star break in Major League Baseball. So let's start the show right there with the Angels and the Dodgers. Now for the Angels, center fielder Mike Trout and the biggest show in town, Shohei Ohtani, will represent the Angels. Now Shohei will pitch, he'll hit, and he'll participate in the Home Run Derby. And that, my friends, is must-see TV.
Yeah, it is a pretty big milestone. I want the team to win first. That's the main priority for me. But as long as I'm performing and helping the team win, I felt like it should come natural for me to get selected as All-Star, and that happened. So yeah, I'm very happy about that.
I'd say it's obviously an unbelievable honor to represent obviously the Angels in the American League, and just going there is just it's a blast. Obviously, you're competing with the best around the league. I don't know the status of it yet. Obviously, I can't play, but I haven't made the decision if I'm going or not. Obviously, going to see how I go. Obviously, the biggest, the most important thing is getting back on the field. And if it's staying back here and rehabbing, that's what I'll do.
Now, for the first time in a long time, none of our Los Angeles Dodgers were voted in as starters to the big game, but 4 of them will go as reserves. Max Muncy, Chris Taylor, Justin Turner, and Walker Buehler.
The pride thing is huge, and being able to go and represent the National League and represent the Dodgers as an all-star is amazing, honestly. And you look at the history of this organization, all the great players that come through to be able to wear a Dodger uniform and participate in the All-Star game is something that's pretty special. No, just enjoying the time with, the other guys in the room and just soaking it all in. I think that was probably the best part of it last time was, getting the opportunity to sit down and talk and hang around a cage and have conversations with different guys about different things. And you really kind of get to know, I guess, a different side of, the guy other than seeing him in the other dugout and in the other batter's box.
It's awesome. I'm extremely humbled, just to go there. I'm excited to go there and, play alongside like so many great players. And, it's a dream come true. I'm really looking forward to playing in front of my family. I think my family's going to come out. So I'm just going to try to soak it all in and enjoy it.
And now, as far as Major League Baseball, let's recap some of the biggest stories for the Angels and the Dodgers so far in 2021. For the Angels, they could be described as the good, the bad, and the head scratcher. Let's start with the good. In his 3rd season with the Los Angeles Angels, Shohei Ohtani has finally emerged as the two-way player he's always wanted to be. He is leading Major League Baseball in home runs, and his ERA is under 3. Now, the bad news for the Angels was seeing their superstar center fielder, Mike Trout, sidelined on May the 17th with a calf injury. But Mike Trout is scheduled to be back on the field right after the All-Star break.
It's obvious. I think the biggest thing is running. And it's quick movements. When I'm swinging right now, I don't feel it at all. Throwing a little bit, but obviously it's not completely healed yet. So there's still time to let it heal. But I think the last thing that's going to get me from coming back is running. I got to be able to run full speed, no pain. The last thing I want to do is, come back too early and, tear it. And then that's a bigger problem. So I don't even want to think about that. But, the biggest thing is coming back is running for sure. Making them cuts, like you said, in the outfield. Hopefully get an update here soon. I don't know when it's going to be, but, we're just taking it. It's been, getting checked out every week. So going off that.
Now, the head scratcher was the stunning announcement made by the Angels that they would part ways with Albert Pujols on May the 21st. Pujols was in the final year of his 10-year contract when they designated him for assignment. But hours after Albert Pujols cleared waivers, it was the boys in blue that decided he would be a perfect fit. The Dodgers are known for bringing veteran leadership into their locker room, and that's exactly what they did with Albert. Here's more on that subject from skipper Dave Roberts and Albert himself.
I don't use that word very often, but just playing against Albert, seeing him on the other side, coaching, managing against him, and to see him in our dugout in a Dodger uniform is really surreal. But it fit, and it looked normal. So I know the players are really excited. I know he was really excited. It was like that 13-year-old kid playing his first Little League game. And everyone just fed off that energy. And I think, for him to get that first at bat, the ovation that he got, took a good swing in his first at bat, I thought. And just to get the first hit out of the way, the first RBI, you can just see kind of, okay, now we can go and play. And so it was just really good to see.
Pretty awesome, 21 years. Remember, I was on the other side, so I'm getting a lot of boo. So it's pretty good, the fans, cheering my side this time. So pretty awesome, really electric. The fans were really on their feet, just pumping us up. And, the best thing that we did, finish again, with a win to close the night. So it was pretty awesome, just the atmosphere, the guys in the dugout, the communication in the dugout, just kind of telling ourselves, hey, he's doing this, he's doing that. And that's pretty awesome. That's show you why this club is a championship ball club.
From the moment he got over here, a month or two ago, however long it was, the guy's been nonstop energy, nonstop smiles. He loves being out there every single day. He loves working. He just loves the game of baseball, and that's starting to rub off on a lot of people. And he's been huge for us. I don't know if there's enough words to describe how much of an impact he's had for us. And then on top of that, you look at what he's been able to do at the plate. The guy, he can still hit. He's unbelievable. He's still got so much juice left in that bat. He goes out there and puts a professional bat every single time, and it's been a lot of fun to watch.
And this year, the Dodgers have created a brand new area called the Center Field Pavilion. That's where we are right now. It's also known as the new front door to Dodger Stadium. Now, as you can see, there are many areas for fans to discover and brand new seating in the home run seats. But the Dodgers went a step further, making sure the area would be accessible for everyone. Here is more from the VP of Development and Planning, Janet Marie Smith.
When Stan Kasten became president and CEO in 2012, he and our chairman, Mark Walters, set about thinking about Dodger Stadium in a different way. And they just felt that we had one chance as a new ownership to make a good first impression. So the first thing that we did for the 2013 season were these new plazas, big new restrooms, taking seats out on every level to create not only a wider concourse, but importantly, ADA compliant seats where you could see over the fans in front of you, standing room so that you didn't have to sit with your bottom in a traditional stadium chair. And that had proved to be just so welcome by our fans that Stan felt really strongly that for 2020, which was going to be the All-Star game and a moment that Dodger Stadium would be in the national spotlight, that it would be a really wonderful time for us to do this big new center field plaza that would connect the previous plazas we've done over the years, and importantly add 5 new elevators, 4 new escalators, 4 bridges, and really tie Dodger Stadium together so that it's a full 360 that anyone can make regardless of your physical abilities. Having elevators that go all the way from our clubhouse level to the reserve, stopping on every level, and connecting on bridges where appropriate really made a huge difference in the ability to move around this building. And we do feel very strongly that this should be accessible to everyone. Of course, current codes tell you that, but so does just good common sense, because we view ourselves as a really family-friendly building. We love seeing 3 generations of a family here together, but don't think for a minute that young kids or grandma and grandpa are going to move around at the same pace. And of course, we also see just trying to take care of this building, that moving our cleaning carts, loading in concessions, loading in the team stores, all require things that are on wheels. So it really makes a difference to be able to have the mobility in this building that all this circulation gave us.
Something that wasn't probably ADA compliant, but you went the extra mile, was these home run seats. Why was that important for you to have somebody that may need different kind of accessibility enter that area?
Well, every seating section should have that opportunity. And It's really hard to achieve in an older building, but that new section that filled in the gap between the outfield wall and the old 1962 pavilions was just right for having some fun. And we thought, why not make it fun for everyone? So the home run seats have a lift on either side of the center keystone, so that anyone can go up in that lift. It's only about a 4 or 5 foot elevation change, but still enough that in that tight space a ramp doesn't do it. And it's just really wonderful to have that unique view of Dodger Stadium, sitting as if you yourself were the center field.
For you, because you've been involved in this project for so many years, what is it like to see fans walking through here now for you?
Well, it's glorious, and we can't wait because this project has been so special for Dodger Stadium, and Stan Kasten has wanted a new front door since he got here, so here we have it with Jackie Robinson greeting you as you come in.
Now, turning to football, last year SoFi Stadium opened its doors to Rams and Chargers football, except due to the pandemic, nobody could be there to watch in person. But in 2021, that's all about to change. In fact, the Rams invited about 40,000 of their closest friends, also known as season ticket holders, to get a sneak peek inside of SoFi so they could actually sit in their seats where they're going to watch the Rams and Chargers come fall.
Good to hear my home city.
Sound and visuals that you get at SoFi Stadium of the game. We content, information, and messaging out a year before.
This is such an exciting day for Rams fans, as you and I were just talking about. They're excited to be just walking into SoFi for the first time. What has been your impressions watching people come in?
You just forget how much joy football and coming to games and being with one another brings to people. And not only are they blown away by the stadium and seeing their seats for the first time, but you just see the excitement of being back, at a stadium, wearing their gear, cheering on their team, doing a Who's House, Rams House chant. So a lot of tears, a lot of hugs, and a lot of smiles. I think people are just excited. They picked out these seats 3 years ago. For some of these families, they've been waiting 40, 50 years for a Rams stadium in Los Angeles. So, I think it's a dream come true, long time for so many people. And just to see what it's going to look like on game day, from sitting in their seats, how they'll walk in from the gates has been great.
This place is amazing. We've been waiting for a long time to come in here and just take a peek at it. And this open house and experience has been amazing. We're really excited about the season coming up, and we're happy that they let us take a peek and have a preview of it.
Where are your seats at?
We're right down here in section 314. This is amazing, but it seems like every seat in this house is amazing.
Well, when did you select your seat?
Well, we thought it was before this last season, so we've been waiting for about a year and a half for this, and it's finally coming to fruition.
And the chefs at SoFi Stadium knew those Rams and Charger fans were going to be pretty hungry when they got inside of SoFi, so they whipped up some very special grub, and yours truly was invited to take a bite.
Your thoughts when you were both approached? Hey, we want you to reimagine food for SoFi Stadium, which is going to be fantastic. What were your first thoughts?
I think the first thoughts were, how could you pass an opportunity like this up? And then it was sort of, we got into the nitty gritty of things of like, how do we actually do this and make people happy, right? That's really the goal, is to feed people on a massive scale, make them happy, give them things that they already know and expect, sneak a couple things in that they might not expect, but deliver on the things that they really do, and make those things really good, like a cheeseburger, like nachos. So we just kind of like added our little touches, made sure we used really high quality stuff, and hopefully people like it the way we do.
What are your favorite things on the menu? You got to tell us.
I would say one of my favorite things is the stromboli dog. It's kind of like this Frankenstein of a hot dog and a stromboli mixed together. It's incredibly indulgent, really delicious. Hits all those like salty notes that you want when you're kind of drinking, alcohol, beer, whatever it may be. And I also think that, like, weirdly, the veggie burger came out really, really good. We actually went back and forth on it a lot on how to execute it, because that's a big thing when you think about the food on this kind of scale and this many people, is how they can actually make it and produce it. So we first came up with one that was a little bit too complicated, and then we kind of like peeled it back, and then we ended up with something really great.
tasting do you guys do on a daily basis here?
I mean, we did a ton of tasting. I mean, Vinny said we ate a lot of hot dogs. We probably tried 50 different hot dogs. You know, a lot of it blindly too, with not just ourselves, but people from our team, people from the Legends team, people from the SOFI team, you know, kind of kept whittling it down until we found one that we all really liked. And it would be anonymous time after time, multiple times, and we would test it.
Now these are just some of the dishes that you're going to find here at SoFi Stadium when you're here rooting on your Rams and your Chargers. Everybody's taking a bite today and tasting it, so now it's my turn. Let's take a bite.
Now in the offseason, teams always add players, and the Rams will look very different with a new quarterback in Matthew Stafford. I had a chance to catch up with the new quarterback at the Rams OTAs, and here's what he had to say about working with his new team. Hey Matthew, can you give us kind of an overview of what it's been like working with your new core of wide receivers?
Oh, it's been great. You know, obviously I've been able to watch them from afar for a long time. You know, both here at the Rams and obviously Deshaun at his couple spots here in the past few years. So I'm, you know, really happy to get to work with them. I have a ton of respect for all of them, the way they play the game, the knowledge that they have, you know, the effort that they play with. So I'm excited. You know, there's some young guys too that I'm getting a chance to work with as well. So it's been a lot of fun so far. You know, obviously, you know, the physical part of it is great right now. Getting to be able to throw and catch and work with the guys. But for me, probably the biggest thing at a quarterback position is just being able to get some of these mental reps, you know, being able to get in and out of the huddle, learn the new terminology, you know, and then see our plays develop versus different defenses. You know, that's a whole nother aspect to it as well. So I'm just trying to learn as much as I possibly can about not only, you know, our playbook and the way we want to operate as an offense, but also, you know, my teammates as well. Yeah, you know, I think the biggest thing for me is I try to do it in all situations. I'm just going to try and be myself. Try to be the best version of myself that I can possibly be. You know, I'll organically, you know, get to know everybody, and all that can't happen in you know, one trip around the locker room. So it takes some time to figure out what, you know, makes guys tick, and I just enjoy competing, getting out there with these guys. But the biggest thing is just be myself. Let those things happen. And understand that there's been a high standard here, you know, of success and really quarterback play as well. So I've got to come in here and do my part. And I think that's, you know, the biggest thing that people are going to take away from, you know, a quote unquote leadership aspect of the thing is just doing your job as to the highest, you know, of your ability as often as you possibly can.
And training camp for the Rams and Chargers is less than 2 weeks away. I can't wait, and I'll bring you all of the interviews from the coaches and the players as they get ready for 2021. And finally, the Baseball Hall of Fame has a new member, and he's somebody I have known for a very long time. Now it's time for you to meet Josh Rawitch on his way to Cooperstown.
Well, I am here now with the new president of the Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown, New York. And Josh, you and I have been friends for a very long time. And your story on how you got here really is very inspirational, especially to a lot of young people. But first, I need you to tell me how you got the phone call and what happened when you found out they came knocking.
Well, originally Jeff Idelson, who's currently the president, was the one who reached out and said he thought I would be great at it. And obviously the process was quite extensive. I had a chance to meet with several people from the search committee, everyone from Commissioner Manfred to Cal Ripken Jr. to Harvey Schiller and ultimately Jane Forbes Clark, who's the chairman of the board there. And she was the one who called and said, it's just a few weeks ago, she said, you know, I spoke to the search committee and I'd like to let you know that we'd like you to be the next president of the National Baseball Hall of Fame. And I said, I wish you could see my face right now. It really was kind of a surreal moment. So still kind of pinching myself.
Who was the first person that you told?
My wife, of course. Immediately called my wife, Erin, and I just said, the call actually just came. And we had been preparing for it. It felt like it was going to happen. And she's from New York. And so it was weird. It was a little anticlimactic. I mean, that moment was great, but I kind of felt like it was probably going to happen, and it didn't change just how special it was. It's pretty cool.
Josh, we started here at Dodger Stadium, and you actually started as an intern. So please tell your story, because listen, you're going to be the president of the Hall of Fame, and you were an intern here at Dodger Stadium. It doesn't get better than that.
No, it really doesn't. I mean, I was a freshman in college when a professor said to me, don't be afraid to send your resume to your hometown team. You never know what'll happen. And so I fired off a resume to the Dodgers, and I came in on winter break after freshman year. I interviewed, and I can remember the first call I got in my dorm at Indiana, where the guy said, we'd like to make you an intern in our department. I was jumping up and down and trying to act serious on the phone, but that was started in 1995, and over time I've just slowly kind of worked my way up. I was at the Dodgers till 2011, and I've been with the D-backs for almost a decade from right now, was when Derek Hall called and had me go to the Diamondbacks.
What do you think that you learned the most kind of along the way with the Dodgers and then with the D-backs, just the growth?
The Dodgers really, I grew up in this building, first as a fan, then as an intern, and ultimately as an executive. When I left as a vice president, I really learned, I had an opportunity to go through a lot of different things here, 4 different ownership groups, numerous managers, GMs. So I think what I really learned was how to just adjust all the time on the fly. And then ultimately at the Diamondbacks, Derek has been so great. My office is right next to his, and he was also an intern back in Vero Beach at the Dodgers, and then when he brought me out there, he just brought me into every single meeting, and without ever explicitly saying, I'm trying to train you on how to be a president, he really taught me how to be a senior executive, how to lead, how to create a culture in an organization that people love to work for. And hopefully that's what I'll be able to bring to the Hall. I know it's already a very special place, but I hope that I'll be able to bring things that I learned both here and at the Diamondbacks to my new life in Cooperstown.
Who are your biggest mentors along the way?
Obviously, my parents have been incredible to me from obviously birth. My high school baseball coach, Tom Usborne from Chatsworth High here. I had no business being on a team that was one of the better ones in the state, and frankly, I got incredible opportunities through him. Derek really has been from my earliest days, but even John Olguin, who was a vice president of communications here. Camille Johnston was a boss of mine here. So many people that I've learned so much from. It really is, the list goes on and on and on, but I hate to name a couple because I feel like I'm leaving out the 20, 30 people. I've tried to pick up a little bit from each person over the years, and even those that maybe I didn't necessarily gel with as much, I learned from, and that's really what I'll take with me.
People don't know if they're going to be a right fit for being a media person and taking care of media. How did you know that was the right fit for you?
I started here in the marketing department. It was more advertising, ticket sales, things of that nature. And it was when I went to Indiana my junior year, I worked in what was the sports information department, which was basically media relations. And I just loved it. I loved that it combined everything that went on the field with off the field. And so when I got back to the Dodgers, my first full-time job was still in marketing. But Derek and a couple others had moved me over after I kind of said, I feel like that's really more where I belong. I don't know. It's just I grew up in a journalism household. My parents were both journalists. My mom taught journalism, and I just always had a good vibe for dealing with the media. And then ultimately, for 2 years, I was a reporter, and so I've tried to think along with the way reporters think and try to think ahead sometimes when it's controversy. I love it. I love kind of being in the middle of everything.
Did you ever want to just do that, be on this side and hold the mic?
I never really, not from a TV standpoint. I guess when I first went to college, I actually wanted to be Vin Scully. I went to school thinking I wanted to be a broadcaster. And it really, once I landed my internship in the front office, I just said, this is what I want to do. And I kind of shifted gears very quickly. But my 2 years as a reporter, I covered the Dodgers in 2001. And I covered the Giants in 2002, and they went all the way to the World Series, and I got to cover Barry Bonds and Jeff Kent and Dusty Baker. And it just, for me, as much as I miss the creative writing and going in and actually crafting a story, the standing around in the clubhouse and the constant there's so much waiting, yes. I couldn't do it. And so ultimately when John Olguin said, do you want to come back to the Dodgers in 2003, it was a no-brainer that we moved back down here.
So I know you and your family went to Cooperstown. What was that experience like?
It was incredible. I mean, we let my kids know on a Sunday. It got announced on a Monday, and we were flying there on Tuesday. And that was really, I mean, it was whirlwind, but in a lot of ways, it gave them, my family, a chance to see the schools, the little leagues, the house we're going to rent, and we looked at some houses to potentially buy. And so I think it gave us all a great feel that the town is incredible. I mean, so many people have it on their bucket list, but when you walk around and you see the lake and you feel like you've stepped back in time in so many ways, but then you also see all the modern amenities that are what my kids are used to. I think it really helped, and the Hall of Fame staff was incredible. They held an event where we got to meet them, and they were just so kind to me and my family. Everybody rolled out the red carpet, and I just think we're going to have an amazing time and an amazing life there.
Yeah, you'll have an amazing journey. Now, one thing, you know it's going to be a little colder there, Josh, than the West Coast.
So I've heard, yes. Well, when
we'll get you some hand warmers.
Yeah, my son truly doesn't own a pair of pants. He only owns shorts. And truth be told, I mean, when we moved to Arizona, everybody talked about, God, can you really handle that heat? And the reality is we're just flipping it. There's really basically tons of months in Arizona where you don't do a lot outside. You basically go from your air-conditioned house to your car to your office. I think it's just going to be heat now, and I can't pretend to know what it's going to be like, but again, it's part of the adventure, and that's kind of our family motto. It's all part of the adventure.
Well, you know what? I have learned so much from you over the years, so thank you, and I'll be looking forward to visiting you in Cooperstown, Josh.
I hope you do, and I will definitely be back here for next year's All-Star Game. So thank you, Maria, for everything you've done, and I'm sure this isn't the last we'll be seeing each other.
It is definitely not the last, just a new beginning.
Absolutely.
And that will do it for today's show. Thanks so much for watching. Remember, you can watch Playing the Field 24/7 at playingthefieldtv.com. I'm Maria Serrao, and we'll see you next time.
Best stadium in the world. Oh, that's hard. Take a picture. That's hard. Here you go, mama. That's who I got it from. Hit me deep. Like, hit me. Go. Hit me.